Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sheep's Garden. At the moment here in La Serena we are in almost 2 weeks of quarantine, and this is official quarantine. Before we were just, it was recommended to stay at home and some businesses were closed and things were, everyone was trying to not go out so much, but that wasn't working. So after 4 months of that, they've now officially declared quarantine for La Serena and Coquimbo. And we can only go out when we get a permission off the internet, which lets us go out twice a week. So, and all the businesses that aren't essential have to be closed. So I've had to close my yarn store for a while. And I think if I had some kind of delivery system, or if I was selling online, I may still be able to deliver. But it's kind of tricky because if I have a permission to go out twice a week and I only have 3 hours to go out, it would mean I have to get to the store, package everything up, and then get it to the post office or somewhere. So it's not really practical for me at the moment. Although I was looking into different ways of doing online, selling online. So originally it was just supposed to be for 2 weeks, but then they changed it to indefinite. So at the moment it was supposed to finish this Wednesday, but it doesn't look like it's going to finish, and we really don't know how long we're going to be into it. So I'm trying to keep busy with things here since I can't go to the store very often. I did get a new shipment of yarns in, which I'll come back to in a minute. I'm still working on this yarn that I had in my last video. I've actually tried to make a hot water bottle cover, which I then frogged, and now I'm looking at maybe doing like a t-shirt. So I will keep you guys posted and updated on how that goes. But at the moment, my project that I'm working on is I want to dye. I bought some just plain cotton yarn, and I want to be able to dye it in my solar ovens, some natural dyes. And I thought, well, if I dye it, I need to, put it into a skein to dye it. And then it would be nice to be able to put it back into a ball. And I don't have a ball winder. I've always wanted one, but I've never had one. Many years ago, someone gifted me this, and he said it was for spinning. But I didn't look like any kind of spinner that I knew of. It has a little thing here that you turn and goes around. So after a bit of investigating, I think this is a ball winder. But I am having problems trying to get it to work, and I can't find any instructions on how to make it work. Or, I think maybe it was just used for filling bobbins, maybe for weaving. So I was experimenting. I put this in like that, and I had that stuck in like that. And then I was, taking my yarn off my winder, and I was trying different ways, because I've seen on the internet there are some ball winders that move like just horizontally like this, and then the yarn is guided on and moves kind of back and forth like this. So I thought that didn't look too hard, because the idea that it crisscrosses so that you can make a center pull ball of yarn. So I tried lots and I would go back and forth doing this, and it wasn't working. The first few times it was making a big mess, so that every time I took it off as a kind of funny ball, I put the stick through so that I wouldn't lose it. And then I just have to put it back onto here to start all over again. So it wasn't working. So I was thinking, maybe it'd be just easier to buy one online, because, the stores I buy from, I could get one online. So I was explaining it to my husband, and I showed him some videos of how they work online. And he said it would be easier to try and copy the ones that rotate. They do a kind of rotating movement, and not the ones which move the yarn back and forth. So he suggested, we stick something on here to make that rotates when we turn this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if there's some way I can fix this on at the correct angle, because I think that's what happens. I think this moves around like that. It kind of rotates like that. And then the space where it kind of stays centered, I think, is where the yarn will form a ball. So I don't want to do too much to test it. You know, I want to do something, just tie something together and give it a test before I actually try and make something a bit more solid. But I thought I would do that. So that is what I'm doing at the moment. So I thought I'd do a quick video before I start sticking things and nails and everything into this to show you what I'm working on. And I will come back a little bit later in the day, hopefully with some success, for something that will work as a ball winder. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to go shopping online again. Okay, so I will update a little while later. Ciao! Hello everyone, it's later the same day, and I did a little playing around. As you can see, I've kind of just tied this on here with some styrofoam and a bit of ribbon, just to give it a try. And I realize it still doesn't really work. You can kind of see what happens when I tie this on. If I just put that there, and of course it's not sitting on very well. But if I just do it slowly, it seems to kind of wind around, but it's only doing it in one direction. It's not actually, if you can see there, it's all going in the same direction. It's not, doesn't do the crossover that it's supposed to do. See, now it's going back, but it's not really crossing over. And I don't know if it's because it's not, if we put it more center, it's still not doing the crossover like it's supposed to. It just kind of keeps it all one direction. And so I think what's wrong is that this also has to spin slightly. See, if I move it a little bit and change it, then when I continue, then you can see it starts to cross a bit, and you get more of a crisscross. And it's not staying in very well. It's falling apart. Just as a, so like this. Now it's doing the other way. I also realized when I took it off, it's not too bad, but it just doesn't seem to. I think what it is the actual ones, they tend to rotate around. There's a movement. There's this movement like that, but then there's also a twisting movement as well. I think it's quite slow, but it's enough to give this change. I don't think this is doing it properly. And this is all falling apart. Because I can't have this. Just not getting it tight enough. I mean, my idea was just to practice this, and if this actually worked, then I could maybe try and fix this on permanently somehow. But it's just not. There it is, all falling apart. But it's not doing what I wanted. And also, when I took this off, I realized it was also it seems to be twisting the yarn quite a lot. I don't know if you can see that if I pull this out. Well, doesn't seem to be working too badly. But I don't know if you can see, it's quite twisted, and it's not pulling out the center the way it should, if it was correct. So this did not work, and I think it's just for doing very simple little bobbins, or I also thought I saw in a television program people used it to ply two very long pieces of rope together. It's a shame I couldn't get it to work. And might have to look into buying a yarn baller. So that was my little experiment. I hope you enjoyed it, and it'd be interesting to know if there is somewhere that actually explains how the ball winder actually moves and what parts are twisting. I couldn't find any videos that show its movement very slowly and explains exactly what's happening in a ball winder. It's much more complicated than it looks. Okay, thanks for stopping by. Ciao!